Hey friends, my name's Stevie Taylor. Welcome to the Gig Life Podcast. My guest today is David Sleishman. Dave is a drummer and also the owner-director of Sleishman Drums. We met at the Sleishman Drum Factory in Sydney. We sat down and we talked his musical upbringing, the history of Sleishman Drums, a musical awakening, his never-ending 80s show, and we also geeked out a wee bit on all things drumming. He also let me in on some exciting new Sleishman products that are in the pipeline, so check that out. Fun chat. Laid back. Enjoy. Cheers. I think we're rolling. David Sleishman. How did I go with that?
G'day, very good. First
go?
First cab off.
Yeah, and I didn't even ask you how to say it earlier, did I?
Yeah, no, Sleishman or Sleishman. Used to get called sleazy at school.
Yeah.
But,
Or Davey Rocket.
Davey
Rocket, yeah.
Also known as.
Yeah, how are you, man?
Only the first few. Only for a couple of years now.
Yep.
Davey Rocket.
Yep.
Yeah, good, man.
Good.
Yourself?
Yeah, good.
That's good.
We're at the Sleishman Drum Factory here in Sydney.
That's it.
And I feel a little bit like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
So how far you reckon I'll get with one of those drums down there? Was that you see me? Or actually that cop car's there, eh?
Yeah, there's a cop car.
They knew I was coming. So
depending on how... We often have the cops here, they like it. Depending on how good this podcast goes, man. You know, you never know. We're walking out of here with a truckload of drums.
Sweet ass.
We don't know, bro. We don't know.
No, all good. All good. All right, man, let's we'll throw back to your early musical upbringings and stuff, because you're a drummer.
Mm.
Do you play any other instruments apart from drums?
No.
No,
I wouldn't do that to you. I dabble bits and pieces on
Yep.
guitar, a little bit on keys, but just because they were always around.
Always around, yeah.
Yeah, but drums, that's the gig.
Yeah.
For me, always has.
Yeah, you're
always
basically
will.
born into drums, yeah?
Yeah.
So your dad started Sleishman Drums 1971, did I get that right?
Yeah, first kind of company thing.
Yep.
Would have been around then, yes, 71.
Yep. So there was drums around the house?
Always,
yeah.
So Dad was the house drummer at St George Lee's Club in the 60s through to the mid-70s, which is kind of like the late 70s actually, which is kind of like their golden period of like cabaret.
Yep.
So they had, at any one time, big acts from around Australia or overseas. They had a big orchestra that was looking after them, and he was the drummer in that situation. So he had his days well and truly free a lot. And then on top of that, being an inventive kind of dude, he was always tinkering with his drums, getting them to sound better, redoing bearing edges, taking wraps off and just varnishing. And
that's cool.
And then, he got known for doing that. So drummers would start, like of that era, would come to the house and hang out and say, can you help me with this, can you fix this? And he just slowly but surely became a bit of a Mr. Fix-It, and then came up with a few ideas. The first one was the twin pedal, so our double kick pedal. That was pretty much the first commercially made and marketed, and that was 71, but prior to that was probably the late 60s, the best part of the late 60s, 68 through, was developing it.
Right.
Off a few guys, saying, they wanted to play double bass drum, but they didn't want to carry around two bass drums. A friend of his also had a little bit of a disadvantage with his left arm, so he's like, well, you can't carry two, but you want to play, he had a really good left foot.
Right.
His hi-hat went off for like really good nerve roll. And he's like, man, you should be playing two bass drums.
Right.
So
that's fascinating.
It was just he's that kind of guy. Dad's that kind of guy where the light bulb goes off, and then from that, it gets to work on the job at hand. Yeah. So he sees the end product, goes, yeah, we should do that, and then because he's got the kind of mind to deal with it, he'll work towards making it happen.
Awesome.
Yeah, and did.
That's
Converted
really cool.
old Ludwig pedals and just started you know, whatever he could get his hands on. Then that's pretty much that's how the business got going. It's invention.
Yeah.
You know, and then he worked with partners and some investors, and obviously some outside help had to come in from that. And he's a drummer and an inventor learning how to be a businessman at the same time, which is all, you know, I don't know if we still got that part of it down pat at all.
Yeah.
But, so I came along in, 73.
Yep.
And that was just the world, you know.
Right.
And it was always drums, and he still taught, and it was like, you know, and drummers always come around, great players from all over would seek him out, come and check out what he's got and all the rest of it. So it was real organic.
Who were some of those earlier players that came to the house?
Cool. So Kenwood Denard from a long time ago. Chad Wackerman. Back in the day before he lived in Australia, he came out with Barbara Streisand. Back in the day, and just said we got to find this Sleishman guy. Yeah, it was interesting how the name just travels through. It's even back then it was a small industry. It's in once someone does something, it goes through it.
Yeah.
Clayton Cameron, who was the brush guy. He was Sammy Davis Jr.'s sort of protege.
Yeah.
And then so many. Alan Dawson was a heavy jazz cat back in the day, and again, Dad having jazz leanings. That's a lot of those guys were serious kind of cats. Would come through. Oh man, so many wonderful drummers, and of course, like back in the day, there was great Australian players as well. Warren Daly, who's a big band drummer, well known, ran his own big band, the Daly Wilson Big Band. He was good friends with Dad, but a monster drummer. Like, incredible swing player and just badass on the drums. And of course there was ins as well, like not just hanging out. Like Dad would go, and whenever the touring drummers were around, he'd meet with them and show them stuff. So Louis Bellson, he got to go and hang out and meet with Buddy Rich and all those cats. And then all the way through, you know, the 70s into the 80s, it's always drummers. You kind of name it, we came across them in one form or another.
That's cool.
But they were the cats that were around then. And then, the Weckles, not so much at home and all the rest of it, but we'd go and meet with them and do all that sort of stuff. And and of course, right up to today, we've got guys like Will Calhoun, still good friends. And the good part about it, I was actually one other guy, Mark Riley, who became actually probably indirectly my first drum teacher. He was just hanging out at home and originally learnt with Dad and got onto the pedals and on the snare drums, but he found himself in a fusion band called Crossfire, which was all the old Southern Cross University guys, Jim Kelly and whatnot on guitar, then Bloxham. Mark was a phenomenal drummer. Unfortunately, died in a motorbike accident in, I think it was either 83 or 84. Phenomenal drummer. Was like basically if you could mix probably Steve Gadd with a little bit of Vinnie Collier, probably more like, what's his name from the Mahavishnu Orchestra?
Cobham?
Not Cobham, Latter Day. Narada Michael Walden.
Oh, okay,
That kind of sound, like Killer. Killer, but with all that groove. And unfortunately, we lost him. And but he was like, he was a big influence, and like me early on as a kid growing up. It was just cool, you know.
What kind of music were you listening to? Was it because Dad was jazz? It was jazz.
Yeah, that was there. That was all that was there. And everything he had to learn too, because to chart stuff or to fill in stuff, that was always going on for what he had to do of an evening. So the record player was going off, as well as tapes, decks and all that other stuff, in the lounge room, listening. He'd often have his headphones on, but it was just cool, like and you'd watch him charting and all the rest of it. Then I had I've got two older sisters, and my mum as well. So, and they're all into music. There was only really me and Dad that ended up being the musos of the family. But they had their own distinct influence as well. So Dad, I come from pretty hardcore jazz, drumming influenced music, like stuff that was like the top ass drummers at the time, with into swing, and then cool, like, because Dad's 80, and so like you've got all that real good era, that the 40s, 50s, and then the 60s. But then, of course, still great musos he was into in the 70s and early 80s as well. So, your Weather Reports, all that early fusion-based stuff which was hanging around. And then that's what guys like Mark Riley, everyone was into back then. It just seemed like normal. That was the way the world was.
Yeah.
But then, of course, as my sisters grew up, there was the pop element, or whatever pop element was going on through the 70s and the 80s was definitely in there, and then I had.
So they were playing that stuff.
Yeah. So I had split ends or whatever going on at the same time as maybe Whitney Houston, and Mum's got Neil Diamond and George Benson and all that sort of stuff. So again, though, you look back at it, it's all real good, regardless how you spit it out. And then of course another sister went more into punk, so I got Dead Kennedys and all that kind of gear, it was good because it was just, that's what music was. Dad would rag on certain parts of their music because of maybe the audio quality of it was like, you listen to, that doesn't sound any good, and then but I'm just in the middle of it, and then of course, I started getting my own little personality happening, and my first favourite was like with Michael Jackson, and probably even whatever the pop was going at the time, Duran Duran, and I think I had a couple of breakdancing outfits as well, maybe some puffy pants.
Oh, absolutely.
Like wet kind of shirts with zippers and stuff.
Yeah, I had my own lino too. I used to
your own lino.
Take it out, roll it out. My boombox.
Oh, you were serious.
Oh, hard out.
You were serious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We did a thing in the garage once where I had the cardboard out, and I was trying to do it all. Yeah, just big old boxes.
Yeah, the cardboard used to squash up, see, and then you'd end up with this little
concave.
So you go to spin off the side and roll back into the middle.
You sound like you were good at it. I just tried. Yeah. I just tried. But Dad, that's actually funny because Dad actually saw some guys like Louis Bellson, and I think maybe some of the funk drummers like James Brown's drummers were doing stuff in the early 80s, mid 80s, where they would play drums, like double drummers, and there'd be guys doing their rap breakdancing in front of them. In New York and all that sort of stuff. So it was just funny. We had the drum kit set up in the garage once, and he sat and played some, his versions of like sort of some funky grooves while I was trying to do my silly...
No, with me
it was just us. We were the only. It was just us in the audience. But it was fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, and then so it was just everything was organic. So drums were around. Of course, there was drums being worked on, drums being made, drums being improved, and it wasn't until the late 70s that the Sleishman system, which is getting all of the bolts and fittings off the drum, came about. So his next.
Oh, so the free floating thing started early.
About 78.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we the first guys to do the free floating thing?
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, the Africans kind of had
of course, yeah. They had ropes, they had their ropes and...
Yeah. And so it's always been there. So there's,
Makes sense.
However, it was a reverse situation from us where, again, working on drums for drummers, he had a set, I think it might have been a converted set of Ludwigs, and then there was a converted set of Camco drums. It sounded great, but it was these particular shells that caught his ear with nothing on them. Like he tipped it, sort of like put the shell on the fingertip on the inside, hold it, and get a real sort of note out of it with nothing on it. Prepare it's ready to be sprayed or whatever, and it was just that sound of just the note of the shell. He's going, man, this is gorgeous. That's that mind. Why would I
muffle it up with some lugs and
the way he sees it, right? So, absolutely. And then straight away, bam, I'll show it to you. There's a old snare drum that we've got here, which was his first situation. He got to going on drums, but the snare drum was probably the easiest one for him to get going on.
Yep.
he bent a water pipe, literally like a 1-inch kind of tube water pipe, and welded it and stuck it around a old drill and snare drum.
Yeah.
Put Ludwig snare throw off on it and put it back together, and lo and behold, there's this nice sounding open kind of sounding drum. It was just basic as, and then just this works. So he kept doing it. Came up with his own. We had twin ring system, a ring up the top of the drum, a ring on the bottom of the drum. That was the first ones, and loving it. And again, because he's gigging every night, he's going out straight away and testing it. And
that's
sound guys are on it or not a lot of time, because his whole situation, because he's working in a lot of acoustic environments, the drums actually did have to sound really good.
Yep.
Because there's no, big mics or plate mics going to the bass drum or anything like that. You're just working in a raw acoustic environment. So, and that was the telling factor, whether the drum worked or not. And so that's what really got them going. And he, again, like the pedal, started getting a name for doing this with the kids, and just organically it grew, and guys would come over and want to see and hear these drums. And same deal, there's always players coming into the country, and it just seemed like it seemed like normal at the time, but you look back at it, it's not normal.
It's not normal,
that Larry London's or whoever at those times would come and want to check out the drums. It was just such good fun. And as well as that, he then went around the world, took a round the world trip, going, I've got the secret sauce.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to show this off. I want to see if any other companies might be interested in it. Who knows? I could license it off or do something with it where I don't have to be the man at the bench, so to speak. So he went around and visited pretty much all the biggies at the time. Pearl, Ludwig was kicking with the Ludwig family still involved. Sonor, he went to Germany. Definitely went to Yamaha. I had a good time in Japan. A number of great people he met there. Just didn't take in again, it's sort of like the apple before the cart, before the horse, so to speak. People weren't ready much for it.
Yeah, gotcha.
And big companies, often they're all thinking bottom line no matter what, right? So they dedicate R&D towards this. They're going to want to see a return pretty quickly, so they don't know how it's going to go. And
they got a bit scared.
They see manufacturing dollars. They've got to invest in your tooling and all that stuff.
Yep.
As much as we think they're big companies, they still got to run, minding their P's and Q's. So a lot of that didn't, take, and they're thinking, oh, well, this is all different, mate. We're going to freak drummers out by putting this out and all the rest of it. So it often takes someone just to go and do it for a while until, it becomes normal, maybe. Then, not going to chuck because arrows or do anything silly like that. But by the same token, it really wasn't that long till Pearl came out with their free floater after his world tour that he did visit the factory. Now, historically, you can probably date that actually maybe even Gretsch had sort of a version as well. So it's all a bit blurry anyway.
Okay.
But by the same time, it was just funny how it wasn't really that long after Dad's visit to Pearl. They gone, right, here's it. They might have had some designs. They actually, because it's a very open talk, they probably did run through some designs and had a look at things, and he had similar designs. It wasn't just the one you see now or the one we had then. It was what he was working with. But it's just, again, you could look at it one way or the other.
Yep.
They might have just gone, right, there is something to this, but here's this design that we like that works. Very different to the Sleishman system anyway.
Yep.
And it sat on a crowd. But again, what it did for us and probably helped give us a leg up in our own little world and help keep that going was that opened everybody's eyes to getting stuff off the shell anyway. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And also around that time, a guy by the name of Gary Gouger in America came out with this product called Rims.
Rims, yeah. I was about to say that.
Yeah. Well, it was all around a very similar time.
Similar time, yeah, right.
Yeah. They met, all the rest of it. Again, small business. And that went off, and that's just taking a tom-tom out off.
Yeah, that's it.
But we were, Don is a purist. He's like, nah, nothing on the shell, nothing. So even our legs were off. Everything's off.
The legs are off as well.
Yeah, everything. Right. So it's all mounted off the ring system.
Okay.
And we've got really cool springs that the floor toms sit on.
Right.
Short springs that sound like it's like you hit the drums.
So it lets it.
Yeah, lets it sustain.
Yeah, yeah.
Any floor tom would sounds better with them on there.
Yeah.
Just all those little things. He's a complete purist. He actually used to put them. He used to have even our own front bass drum spurs that were different to today as well. That also helped keep the bass drum off. You name it. Even to today, it's still things coming up with. There's been oodles of revisions, and we've got a good system now that we've had since the mid-90s, really.
Yep.
But we've refined it, and we've refined our shell cuts, our a whole bunch of the workings of the drum to really suit the drum.
Yep.
So any inventor, you just basically let the product tell you what's happening, and then you work backwards from there.
Yep.
So and then he just came back, and he went full steam under his own little belt out of the garage, and still was playing. We had another business. Mum and Dad had a liquor store. We were still juggling all that. Again, it just grew and grew and grew, and then I think by the late 80s. Yeah, the late 80s to around about 1990, that's when he first got the first actual factory premises, which was in Belmore. Mm-hmm. Not Belmore? Belmore Road Punch Bowl, that's right, the old Punch Bowl, with his first business partner. And it just kept going from there. And so all the while there, so I'm loving drumming, but never too serious.
Yep.
Until about, I was in year 7 actually. So around the 12 mark, there was a school band. I went, I can do this. I'm Dave Sleishman. No problem. I got this. But I didn't really know how to read and my drumming was just whatever I said my drumming was. It was not directed.
Yeah.
And so that was the first wake up call.
Yeah.
It was like, okay. I'll never forget too, my first ever official gig would have been in that school band where they threw me on timpani. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm doing.
Like a drum,
and it was exactly. And
what is this?
These big things that I got to hit the
Where do I
levers.
sit?
They got a tune. They go up and down. Where do I sit? And it was a band competition. So I'm like, I've got it. The pressure's on.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. It was only a week after I joined the school band.
Right.
The curtains opened. And there's the adjudicators, everyone down there, and a few people sitting there. I didn't play a note. The sticks were just pointed up in the air. I'm just looking at everybody, looking down at the drums, nodding.
Yeah. That's great.
Didn't do anything. Then the curtains shut, and off we went.
We did it, team.
That was my first gig.
Yeah.
Oh, what a classic! But
it is classic.
And then it was into the nitty gritty. And Dad actually sat me down. There was a teacher there at the school that I had a few lessons with on the drums, and he saw what this teacher was showing me, and he's going, oh, man, nah. I've talked to him every day. Now, he was always a bit scared of teaching me because, father teaching his sons, an interesting scenario. Mm-hmm. And I'm right at that point at the moment with my little boy, Zach, and we're sticking to it. We're going for it.
Good stuff.
We'll have a little lesson in the morning. But it's just a case of, you're always aware of maybe overstepping the mark. But he, you don't want to... It's sometimes you think maybe is it best for him to go to another teacher or whatever. So we did try that.
Yeah, we've battled with that. But I tried. I've taught my girls a few things.
Yeah.
And they've naturally got rhythm.
Well, then they're there.
But they don't want to.
Yeah. It kills you.
Yeah.
It kills you. Well, it was a similar thing for my two sisters, right? Dad had seen that with my two older sisters, and then I came along and I took an interest.
Yep.
That's killer though. It's got to come back because if they've got natural rhythm, how old are
they? My oldest girl is 9, and my youngest girl is 6, and they're both.
Do they dance
at home. They don't.
Yeah.
They're
not learning dancing.
Not out learning dance, but they're always singing, always dancing, always singing melody and tapping along to things. And my oldest girl can.
Well, they got it.
She can play 2 or 4. But I don't know. I'm bored, Dad.
Yeah.
It'll come around.
They've got to have a reason for doing it.
Exactly right.
if they can see something happening,
Yep.
it's like, you know, maybe they might be able to hold a tune or whatever. They can sing a bit.
Yeah.
And then they go, right, cool. I think maybe then come on and play drums.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or whatever they want to do.
Oh, yeah. Well, then it's the natural thing, and you can't ever program that at all. Right. And it's awesome to see. And then it's also drives you mad to see that the drive might not be the same as what yours is.
Yep.
And that's with being a parent, like sort of, and coming from learning from a parent who had those concerns.
Yep.
And I still have those concerns.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's also going, all right, well, if you're going to do this, man, you're going to do this. So that's sort of, it's getting that decision.
Yeah.
And all right, we're going to sit down, and I put my teacher's hat on. I'm different.
Yeah.
And then we try to get through the lesson, me maintaining my teacherism like I would if I was teaching someone else.
Gotcha.
It goes okay most of the time.
That's good. Yeah.
It goes okay.
Yeah.
But he's getting there.
Good stuff.
And then we came, like, so going back to me was, I still remember it was everything from right the way through from having to put together the beat. Like, I always knew to do, but I just didn't do it. I was an expressive on the drums.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd hear a TV theme, like Hawaii 5-0 or something like that. And I'd go down and I'd just express. This is prior to being in an institution where you got to, or you know, you got to play in a band. You got to play a role.
Yep.
This was the drums to me were almost like I almost saw them in the colours kind of perspective, and music to me has always been colours.
Oh wow, that's great.
And even when I tinker on other instruments and all the rest of it.
Mm.
And so, and you see things, and you see visions, and so not actual come up with kind of visions. It's more along the lines of visual helps. So with that, I'd be playing like the Hawaii 5-0 kind of tom-tom groove, and I'd be singing the melody in my head, and even the start of it. But then again, I'd be also seeing like the start of the old one had the big tube, and the close-ups of the guys, the you know, the helicopters, and the guys actually when it starts, they're in the outrigger, like canoe thing or whatever, right? And they're paddling along, and you can feel them sort of paddling along, and so you're playing. That was just me. That's where you go to, and I think still to this day, like even leapfrogging over all that, if I've got to play a tune, or if I've got to learn something or mimic a style, I'll naturally gravitate towards who I think that style is. Yep. And I'll try to picture them playing them. Yep. So if I've got to do a Purdy-esque thing, I'm going to try I'll try to explain it.
Yeah, try to explain it.
But sit in the same sort of posture. I just mimic everything I possibly can. And even if I've got to do something that's by somebody else and I try to sort of understand them, it's probably, I've always been a visual kind of guy. And that was it. But then getting into that structured thing where you got a conductor counting you off in the school band was confronting, particularly when you counted off the next tune was a different tempo and you've only just started playing and so thankfully Dad used to come and sit next to me of an arvo because he could, which was a blessing.
That's awesome.
At my first few school sort of band practices, so we'd be doing, you know, Sgt. Pepper's and then La Bamba and all these other Rockies and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, you helped me. I never forget there'd be Sgt. Pepper's, that sort of, and then that groove. Then we'd have to, okay, righto, that was done. And then you have to sit and do La Bamba. So you count off. It would be like, and so, yeah, that's about it. And then I still sit there going, and it's good to have Dad go, no. just you know, just bring it up a tempo. And I couldn't, and the conductor, but then Dad's, and I'm going, well, you know, fortunate to have that because, you know, a lot of kids don't get it. And possibly some of the kids that don't get that might just give up. Yep. You know, so not for me. I'm going to go kick the footy.
Yep.
And it was cool. So I was very fortunate that I got that takeoff. And then once a few things fell into place, that whole little world, the school band thing was cool. And I kept doing lessons with Dad, and then it all started coming together. I got right into my rudiments. I got right into other drummers, and of course, video VHS was still the thing.
Yep.
And the early modern drummer days were cool.
Yep.
The early Zildjian days were the ones that stamped in my mind.
Yep.
Tommy Campbell, the early Vinnies, the Steve Gadd at Zildjian Day, my God.
Zildjian and
Weckels, and then of course it just all took off from there. And modern drummer was just, we had every issue for reasons of Dad wanted to watch what everybody was doing, because every 5 minutes of someone else maybe having a crack at what you're doing. He was in touch with. We were getting articles in the modern drummers, and it was just cool because you'd be listening to music and then discovering drummers through reading articles about them. And they were already established, and they were already these people that were esteemed in their business.
Yep.
So that this Bible that you had in your hands, the modern drummer, was guiding you in the right sort of direction.
Do you still read it?
Yeah.
I get it.
We get the online subscription,
I get it on the iPad,
I think they're doing a wonderful job with it. Their editor at the moment has been there for a while, Mike Dawson.
I listen to the podcast.
He's a gun.
Do you listen to their?
Yeah,
they've got the Modern Drum podcast.
I don't so much. Like I said before, we
with Mike Johnson
clicked record.
Yeah,
I'm not I this is my sort of. I'm still pretty blank when it comes to podcasts.
Not after today.
I gotta go. No wait. No,
you've got to share this shit.
I'm knee deep in it. No, I'll share it.
Yeah, you'll need to know.
Yeah.
Talking about a podcast.
Yeah, the podcast. So it's not chucking those biscuity chocolate things around the place. The pods. No,
but like I said to you, like for me, I discovered podcasts driving to and from gigs.
Yeah, it's
and like
such
we were saying before, you listen to music, and like you said, music's moody, and it can
100%
put you in the wrong.
If you have a good gig,
and then you listen.
And then if you have a shit gig,
you listen to some Floyd on the way home, and you're all depressed by the time you get home.
Yeah, you want to neck yourself.
That was me.
Well, there's times where you flick through the radio and you just go, there's just nothing going.
Yep.
Well, there's awful talk back or something, no thanks.
Yeah.
So, it's brilliant. So I should get into those podcasts and more so, all sorts. Everything, is involved with it.
Yeah, well, the Modern Drummer one, they have it different segments. They have sort of an opening part, and then Mike talks specifically about some of the gear he's got in the studio that he's reviewing. He has little sound snippets of it, and they talk about their favourite thing of the week. And
he's all over it.
Fascinating. And Mike Johnston as well.
Yeah, and again, a real true, they're students of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And modern drummer guys were always held in a sense like one of the guys, I don't know if he was the guy before Mike, but there was another guy his name was Rick Van Horn, who was managing editor for a long, long time there. And it was just these guys that you just were like, there was just this godlike thing. Here we are down in Australia, and I'm reading about all these dudes. So they were the biggest thing since sliced bread. Not only the people in the magazine, the lovely man that started, who's Ron Spagnati, his family, and then you get to know, you learn about the Zildjian family, you learn about the Sabian family, you learn about the Pasty family, you learn all about these Brady's, you learn about, and of course we knew them outside of that as well, and we saw, and they sort of were going nuts through the 80s as well. It just seemed like I don't know, you look back and nostalgia's always going to be, no matter what age you are, there just seems to be some pockets of your life you go, shit, man, I didn't realise how good I had it. And that, I think, which I'm probably talking now, would have been mid-80s through to the mid to late 80s or early 90s, was just, it was peaking. Music was peaking.
Yep.
And so that, and of course, drummers were still regarded and needed in every sense.
Yep.
As opposed to at the moment, which is you're crafting, you're getting all the rest of it together. But by the same token, if someone can't afford you in their band at the moment, then they've got to go off on their own acoustic tour. You might get cut. So unless you can bring more value to the table, so it's just a case of again, didn't realise how good I had it, but by the same token, was still practicing, going hard, and getting into all sorts of drummers.
Yep.
that time, and
who were your favourite? Not famous. Who were your
favourites?
Favourite guys through that period.
Through that period,
The 80s.
yeah, sure. Well, I think the rock thing really started taking on.
Yep.
I was early on really into everybody. Sounds was something that was important to me. There's still an album from the early 80s that I listen to, like No Tomorrow. It's Paul Simon's Gracelands.
Mm-hmm.
And that's got a number of great African sort of players all the way through it.
Mm-hmm.
That set me up really well. And then leading me into sort of the rock side of it. It was more of the younger man getting a bit of his attitude. I would definitely say early Guns N' Roses, Rolling Stones, Charlie Watts was a massive influence. I went back and dug into the Beatles. And, of course, guys like Simon Phillips, who came in as an ultra dude over the top of that. So you're getting involved in these styles of music. And then because you're in this drummers world, you're getting to see the best dudes at it as well. I loved Tommy Aldridge because I got into
I saw
my
a video
White
of him the other day on Instagram. Still rocking it, man.
Smoking
Sure
drummer.
is.
How old must he be?
The power he plays with and the precision.
70s? Maybe?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Because I didn't think he was a young man in the 80s, to be honest.
No. Like he looked old in that. There was that Ozzy Osbourne tour that he did with that red double kick.
Yeah.
He
the
looked
Yamahas.
old. To me, the Yamahas. Yeah, he looked old then. To me, you know.
Yeah.
But just looks exactly the same.
These drum solos used to get me going, and of course Van Halen.
Yep.
I love them.
Did you get into that sort of LA session type music?
Yeah.
Toto.
Because because of the upbringing, and still when I was a kid, before I started developing my own like sort of vibe as to what was influencing, what was around at my time when there comes that time when you pop your head up and you start discovering things for yourself. Prior to that, yes, of course. So, Boz Gags was on. Again, this is coming through Muso Mates' dads.
Yep.
Toto.
Yep.
And to a lesser extent, the Fleetwood Mac thing and all that sound. The Eagles were sort of there, but still, they weren't the LA session dudes. It was more like Steely Dan and.
Gotcha.
I don't think they were East Coast, but the Muso's music was always there. That was bubbling. Absolutely. I took for granted. I've got to say, like looking back, I took for granted all that stuff.
Yep.
Because it was just cool. It was just there, Of course, Cobham, Monster.
Yep.
Because they were around when I was young, it was like I banked them.
Gotcha.
For a good while.
Yeah.
And I just was off on my own little discoveries. And, of course, commercial music was huge. I was into all that sort of stuff, Bon Jovi, all that kind of business. And with that, all the while, great drummers and going and seeing clinics outside of that. So you go, all right, my first ever drum clinic when I was a kid, Dad took to when I was not long after that whole lovely little first school band experience, but 86, something like that maybe, Kenny Aronoff. And then all of a sudden, because I went and saw him, it was Kenny Aronoff became a god to me.
He was my first Modern Drummer magazine episode.
Yeah, cool.
Edition.
Yeah.
First one I ever bought was
awesome.
Kenny Aronoff. Yeah.
And he had a story to the whole thing.
Still has.
And that's what got me.
Have you read his book?
Monster. No, I haven't.
It's great.
I should.
Fantastic. Yeah.
They tell everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, and then it was again you're learning lessons all the while. Some lessons stick, some lessons just disappear, and you imagine if all of them stuck. Geez, but Kenny's was the first one where it really stuck because, I'm just a kid. Whatever, it's all new. The whole world's exciting. I think it was at the basement in town actually, from memory. And I'm there, so this big aqua Tama kid, and I was sort of just there looking at him. He walks out, and everyone's like, it's a whole macho environment. It's just all guys going off to another guy. It's like, wow. And then, and I was like, this is awesome. And then the crowd sort of calms down. He's still standing in his mic, and he said the classic line, less is more, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yeah! And I don't think I was joining in, but I was just there. Just like, yeah, well, he said less is more. Yeah, cool, great.
Yeah.
And, and he sat down and just started playing just a chord note kind of thing. Doom, ga, doom, ga. And of course, ga. And like it just kept building and building and building. By the time it is all finished, I'm mad. And this is like probably 20 minutes later, you know. Then it cuts back to
Yeah.
That was the first solo or act of whatever you would call the clinic to be done, and everyone just lost their shit. It was great, and there was just those moments that you go, oh shit, I'm a drummer.
Yep.
And you just feed off it, you know. And another bloke that wasn't too long after that was actually Simon Phillips that I went to as well. And
at Enmore?
It was ridiculous.
At the Enmore? Just after he joined Toto?
I went to no. This is before then. I think it could have been a Keith Richards or a Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger tour.
Yep, with Doug Wimbish was playing bass on that tour.
Wimbish on bass, was he? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Pre-Living Colour.
Yeah.
And I think it was the Hyatt Kingsgate at King's Cross.
Okay.
And Big Yellow Simon Kit, and it was just another one of those moments. There was the brilliant thing about these clinics is there's just certain moments that stick out. The one with Simon was he come out and sat at the snare drum and was doing a snare drum solo, but then he started playing just with his fingers on top of his hands.
Yeah.
So in an interview, it was like he's playing trumpet with both his hands, and he had the same amount of control as if he had his whole freaking hand playing them. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous, and it doesn't make sense. How does this happen? And I went home and tried to do it. Down amongst other things, like where he's playing and he's doing the sweep from the cymbals down to his snare drum, and it just was this one constant white noise. It was just one roll. That it was a snare drum roll, but it was a cymbal roll, and there was no gap in the snare drum notes. So I'm just there. My jaw was just, this guy's just a freak. Let alone all this sick open-handed playing, and it was just gold. And then there was,
and then the octobans and what the fuck, and what's that big fucking
the
gong drum over there?
The big gong drum, the whole thing.
So first clinic I saw,
but he did it all, and it all worked.
Absolutely, and he still has a similar setup today, I believe. I saw his clinic at the Enmore at 90. I'd only just first moved to Australia actually. First clinic I saw here, that was at the Enmore, and he'd just joined Toto.
Yeah, right.
Maybe he'd been there for 12 months or something like that. And then I saw him, was it 3 years ago?
Smoking, still.
Far out, man. Just a monster.
Yeah.
You talk about the solo, he started off really simple, and then he just started this octoban ostinato thing with his left hand, and then just ripped. And then he had this little 12-inch cracker snare was just off to the right of his right leg, and he'd just go every now and then, just go blah, doing the stuff blah, and then you could watch everybody in the crowd. They knew it was coming, and everyone would just go when he hit this little 12-inch cracker snare. You know, it was fucking awesome.
He said, "Then go, where do these guys come up with those ideas?"
I know, yeah.
Because you said they're from a working drummer kind of perspective. I want to freaking take another little snare drum along with me. That's, you can't buy that rationale, unfortunately. It's just more shit you got to carry around with you. But these guys, right, that's their thing. It's always been their thing, and they've got their suites set up. He's a producer. He's a gun producer as well. And it was just a case of that was the other thing too. Was like, hang on, this guy's actually producing music for people as well. He's a drummer. And hang on.
That's right.
You know, he's a smart cookie, so get into him. And that was one of those dudes. And then, of course, there was Weckl at the Enmore. That was the big one I saw at the Enmore. I still got a ticket.
I saw Weckl at the Basement. Yeah, he was out for the Synergy, I believe the album was.
Yeah, that's it. The Dave Weckl Band,
There's the stage. There's Dave's bass drum, and there's me right there like that. Oh, fuck.
That's a gun. That was a gun album.
It was awesome.
Buzz.
Buzz playing guitar. And
Jay Oliver on.
Jay Oliver was on keys and I'm just thinking, was it
sax, dude?
It was sax.
Oh, he's a killer, that sax guy. What's his name? He's a gun.
Weinhardt?
The bald guy. Name escapes me, but actually that playing on that album and the one before it, The Rhythm of the Soul, were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the hooks and the rhythms and even all of them are just absolute guns.
Yep.
And, you know, prior to that, he copped a pretty bad rap. In a sense, a lot of people were ragging on Werkel for not being a pocket player.
Yeah, well, Synergy was definitely a pocket album.
Great pocket album with all of that touch and all of that brilliance that everyone sort of did heap crap on him because he's there's Vinny who's the absolute king of that world. I still think.
Yeah, I agree.
No one can what he conceives and actually pulls off on a drum kit. I don't think anyone's still able to do. May not be able to do. He's just one of those dudes. Werkel was that classic, had that groove, had that feel, and could really get a real good close thing to that. You could tell he's got a monster work ethic.
Yeah.
And going to his clinics, that was also what again was probably another thing that stuck out to me was just how hard he was prepared to work right from a young man right the way through to what he's doing. Kenny was the same. And then to continue to work. Like, Werkel's still putting out great stuff.
Yeah, and he's got online school now, hasn't he?
Yeah, online school.
Yeah.
And always he's a good businessman as well with what he does. He's always putting out product, always putting out books. And again, a true muso's muso.
Yep.
You know, heavy cat. Like, if you're going to survive in New York, you gotta be pretty good. And then again, make a monstrous name for yourself. Like, so there was those cats that were around at that time. You're just like, they're phenomenal. By the same token, all my schoolmates were into gunners and all this other stuff. So you're getting all of this, which formed me to be a overplaying rock drummer.
Okay.
Probably. It was probably my personality in the late 80s, early 90s, where I would just play, you know, your first bands, song structure, good.
I could fit that.
Whatever.
I could fit that. I reckon I could fit that.
What do you mean the singer's trying to put their lyrics there? What's he even singing about?
What's he even talking?
I don't think my first band I knew what our songs were about. Who cares? I'm playing drums.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
So I did definitely have a wake-up call. When we first got gigging, you know, first bands out of school, was a rock outfit, and we called ourselves Toolbox.
Toolbox, yes.
Toolbox.
Brilliant.
And we were just doing all the a whole bunch of old rock standards as well as some of the maybe, you know, Rainbow and things like that as well, like a few eclectic kind of bits and pieces thrown in as well, and then some cool stuff, a little bit of maybe some In Excess and some some cool stuff, just more commercially accessible. And then there was some Stevie Winwood, whatever the first band he was in, the Spencer Davis group, things like that. Anyway, playing the shit out of the drums. And there was a guy that Sean, his name was, he owned a Sleishman kit, one of the early ones, came to search, Donnie's son's doing a gig, I'm going to go check it out. And he brought a mate somewhere in town, and we're doing it. It was a great gig, and I come off awesome, and I knew there was a drummer there watching, because what are you going to do? You're going to overplay more than you probably already overplayed. And he said, I'll never forget, he's reading the drum media. We'd come off stage, he's sitting there reading the drum media. I was Sean, how you doing? Good. Did you have fun? Yeah, I had fun. It was great. What do you think? And it's just all I can remember him saying. I don't know, whatever else I said, it was very busy. It was very busy. He didn't say anything bad. He just, it was just very busy.
That's the way he said it too.
His message was received.
Tone, yes.
His message was received.
Yeah.
Because up until then, it's just all your mates come along and saying, "Oh, you guys are awesome," all that sort of stuff. But it wasn't until a muso came along and saw it, or another drummer that obviously knew he had to have issues together in the band that he was in, and then it's going, right, what am I doing? Okay, cool. I've got to maybe calm down a bit.
Yep.
And do the right thing, and the guys were very appreciative of that in the band. And then that kind of kept developing, and one band led to another, and then we were growing ourselves. It was morphed into another band, and we got going, and by the mid-90s, we were getting around a bit. We were called Drive. We were the original Drive, because you got for quite a while, there's Peter Northcote's had his Drive.
Oh, yep.
And we won some band comps and did all that. Got on TV on a thing called Ground Zero, and all the while, Dad's got the band business kicking along. Everything's cool, and I'm out there. I had to get out to work, and I was working a day job as well as gigging, and I just got bored. I got bored like halfway through this band thing. We were supporting Savage Garden musically. It just wasn't happening for me. It just didn't feel like we could make the jump to the next level.
Yep.
So I went on a process of discovery. Wasn't necessarily just bored at any one person or any one thing. It was just, I feel like I've plateaued. So I've gone, right, I'm going to have to look at doing something differently. Probably look at going back to study on the drums, which I did. Started studying with David Jones, who was playing our drums at the time. And what an awesome eye-opener that was. They were some of the most informative lessons. I only had a few with him. They were enough just to put me on a nice musical sort of footing again. So unbeknownst to me, and looking back at where my head naturally goes is into music, a young man ran away from what he was supposed to be doing and pulled me back in as a drummer further along through going, and it was music that I was looking for the whole time. If this makes sense, I'm actually playing music, but I'm overplaying. I'm not listening. I'm playing in an outfit that really probably wasn't where my heart was at. I didn't know where my heart was. It was sort of a real interesting time. And then I went out and, you know what, I just got to get into music. I just got to do something. I don't know what it is. I became an audience member. I would go out and see and try to meet people and just have some inspiration somewhere. And one night I ended up finding myself on the bottom bar at Kinsella's. It was a Thursday night. This is mid-90s, 94, 95. And there's this band called Professor Groove and the Booty Affair that were playing, right?
Yep.
And it was Calvin on drums.
Calvin, yep.
Alex Hewitson on bass. I think it was a guy named Brendan St. Ledger on keys. And Josh on guitar, as well as Professor, which is Roland Caffra.
Yep.
And these guys just blew my head off.
Yep.
And they were just doing old funk standards.
Yep.
You name it. The Meters, Commodores, disco-y stuff mixed in, all of it, and I'm just sitting there going, oh, shit. And then motherfuckers playing this stuff, right? And it just became an obsession. And the music became an obsession. The whole funk soul thing, and I've just kind of found I've gone off. I think I'm done. I think I've found my own, and I find myself going to record stores and CD shops and all this stuff, just digging. I'd read a bit about this because you hear about all this stuff through the grapevine, reading Modern Drummer, and all this sort of stuff was coming back to me. And this drummer. I just ended up on this journey of just trying to find the funkiest music I possibly could. And again, you're coming up against Bill Withers and Parliament and all of that stuff, and of course the Meters. And then I thought, well, I got to go. So I travelled into America and timed it for a couple of little trade shows. It was like a summer now they were doing. I went to New Orleans, I went to Chicago, went to Boston, I went to LA, just saw some amazing music. Spewing because I missed the Meters by a night or two. I just didn't do my research in New Orleans. But just, soaked it up, and then came back and after that was like, right, I got to do something about this. So formed a funk band with the singer from the Originals band, and Sam Bennett, and then we got going and had a lot of fun. It probably sort of towards the tail end of what probably was back then one of Sydney's, I can remember, funk renaissances.
Yep.
Was the late 90s.
Yep.
To the early 2000s. And so we'd go out and we'd do all this stuff. We were called Badussi, and we would do all of those kind of Professor Groovy funk standards plus whatever else we felt we could get our hands on. Started writing our own bits and pieces. It was fun. But all that while, I'm just like, how much more funky can I be?
Yep.
How much more funky can I be? And so there was no bigger influences on me at that time, no matter what I was listening to, was Terrapire Richmond and Calvin. Well, and I still tell him to this day, I'm like, dude, he's like, oh, Dave, man, shut up. Yo, Dave, shut up. I ain't no thing. And it was just like I just got into it, and of course, back and then our band was able to support Dig as well and bits and pieces, and it was just a great, again, another real monstrous learning curve, and that set me up massively. And to this day, I'll still say, that's if I'm going to sit on a chair and find my home, it'll be playing that sort of stuff. Love the funk, love the soul, I love the musicians, everybody based in it. The real feel of, you feel like everybody's got their place and they hold it together. And then, of course, any other good music comes along.
Yep.
Why not?
Yep.
But that's cemented my playing. And then from there, it's always been from a teaching perspective, I still teach drums. It's always been get your shit down, get your rudiments down,
yep.
Get your coordination down,
yep.
Make sure you're in tune with your grooves, and also as quickly as you can, maybe not as long as I took to do it, but find your place in the music that you're playing. And then sit and just do the best possible job you can by it, which was cool. So we did that, and then all of a sudden a singer-songwriter friend of mine came back from being overseas, and I found myself playing country-esque kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
But my roots in the funky stuff,
yep.
Still fit with that. And so I was sitting in and I was able to give a nice vibe to this country stuff. There's a guy by the name of Luke O'Shea who's gone on to win all kinds of things. We had a band called Luke O'Shea and Medicine Wheel. Then he ended up going out on Luke O'Shea, and he's won all kinds of gold guitars and stuff. He's still, I think, one of Australia's best songwriters, honestly. Gets to the heart of the matter.
Because you get out to Tamworth. I've seen...
Every year.
Yeah, I've seen it on Facebook.
Every year. And fast forward to now, there's, like with everybody, there's so much in between. But it's funny, I've got a gig in Tamworth for the first time this year during the festival that's got absolutely nothing to do with country music.
Right.
So we're kicking off the festival on the 18th of January, which is their first night of festival. It's one of the biggest sort of rooms up there with my 80s show, which is called Never Ending 80s.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah,
I just love this. We do the Never Ending 80s in Tamworth.
Tamworth, cool.
In country, and it's almost sold out.
Cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Never Ending 80s.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Never Ending 80s band has been a bit of a revelation to me, as in nostalgia as to how much people really, their hearts are where they grew up.
Shit, yeah, man.
Like everything I've just been gabbling on about, this kind of band sort of reminds me of that time. I didn't know about that side of it when we were thinking about putting this together, and it's just kind of blown up. And that it's at the moment hit a real good hotbed, and lots of people come and see it.
Looks like it.
They're really enjoying it. Yeah, so we're able to. It's a national touring band. We're covering the length and breadth of everywhere. And it's the same sort of deal wherever we go. People are dressing up in their 80s outfits.
That's what I dig. You've got your characters. And it's really cool, yeah. I like the Facebook post too. You're popping up this nostalgia every now and then. It's great.
It's fun.
It takes you back, man.
I think the 80s was a time when people were, so now sort of you can look back on it, but people were innocent to a degree of what the rest of the world was like. We didn't have the internet. There was always great music around us, and it was made by musicians, regardless of whether it was the saccharine pop or it was still really cool musos sort of music. High end, low end, whatever you want to call it, it was people creating, which still to me is very much part of it, but it was also the first part where synth and drum machines, the Rolands, the Linn drums, the Fairlights, all this sort of stuff.
The drum cats,
right? They all started popping up, and it's like, what is this? This is all crap. But electronic drums, Simmons drums, like those octopads, and all that sort of crazy stuff. I still remember that, and it's just cool nostalgia to be involved with. I just didn't realise how much people would love it. The whole idea was that we put together a really good band that we played, dance floor fillers that would get out there and would have fun, and we didn't think there was many other people doing it, and it just ran. It kept running. How
long has it been now?
2.5 years. 2.5 years. And so we had our first show at the Bridge, which was awesome, and then just from there it's gone on. Got a good agent, got harbour, good management, in Jeff Trio Co. Great band members, Adam Gorecki, who's the co-owner of the band, with me on guitar, passionate, always working hard behind the scenes as well. Massive job, which bears fruit. It gets people to gigs. Facebook is a boon. Anybody that's involved in music or anything whatsoever they want to promote, you really can make Facebook work for you.
Absolutely.
Providing you got the right product, and then the just the non-stop sort of idea of it. It's a mass market product, so it requires a different type of thinking than just being a cool muso.
Yep.
You depart from it, and then from that so we're always throwing it's music, movies, pop culture, all that sort of stuff at it, and we've got great guys. Our front guys, we call him JC Hollywood, but his name's Jason Cruz. Fantastic front guy. Gets to the heart of the matter. Knows again, it's a similar age. Knows the era.
Yep.
We've put together a show with lots of great banter that's all from it, and he's also a trivia guy. He does trivia a few nights a week, so we do 80s trivia nights. So the first Thursday of a month, we do our own 80s Facebook trivia, which is its own world of fun as well. So people just pop online and play trivia with us. That's cool. He hosts it, and it's really well put together. He puts together a lot of our vision, a lot of our videos. Of course, Julianne DeSisto has been with us. We call her Jules Electric. She's a phenomenal singer. Mm-hmm. She works in with a number of great people around town. Sebastian Saul's on bass. All very good musos, and we work hard to deliver a good show. 2 times a week, 3 times a week at the moment.
Yeah.
And then you got to pick up and come and run a drum business and be a family man. Mm-hmm. But it's a great time at the moment because playing wise it had dipped. We're all doing little bits and pieces, going out and working, earning your money, and then going, I don't know. But now we've got this thing at the moment, and again everything's only temporary, in music. We'll just see how long this goes for at the moment. It's on a purple patch. We're confident it'll go for a little while, and we'll keep rocking it. We're just having fun with it, and because of the nature of it, it's a two-way street. And it always is that when you've got a good audience, you vibe off them, they vibe off you, and it's such a good thing to have a good number in the audience, all there for one reason. Yeah, and it's an interesting setup because they're not always just music lovers that are coming. They're just people that love the era. Yeah. So
they're dressing up.
Yeah. And they're probably not normally going out seeing gigs. So it's their big night.
Yep.
So we're able to offer them a big night. They they go nuts with it.
They have a big night.
Yeah. And so that in turn, that energy comes back at you. And they're having a big night.
Yeah.
You're there. We're supporting their big night a lot of the time.
Yep.
But again, we're a band, so we're delivering the show. And so that's been gaining a good momentum. And so, it's a big juggle. And I'm playing drums as much as I've ever played. My body's starting to feel it at times.
Yep.
A little bit of the RSI on Sunday crept in on the third gig.
Yep.
In the thumb. Hadn't had that for a while.
Right.
And
for me, it's my right shoulder.
Yeah.
Right in here.
Repetitive shit, man.
Yeah. So
really? Is that kind of? Is it calming down?
It does, but it sort of gets my neck and then I get the pins and needles on my fingers sometimes, So that's that's the whole getting old.
It is, and I heard my man talking about it and all the rest of it. So you sit there and go, shit. Yeah. I am getting old. So, okay. So I've got to start thinking about what I'm doing.
That's right. Yeah.
Just thinking about I actually am playing more open-handed.
Okay.
To sort of cut down the eighth note, because again you've got to drive an audience. You got to. You got that, and then go. Oh, okay, cool. You know what? It is mic'd up. I got to calm down.
Yeah.
And play according to my stamina. But it's a big show, and it's improved. It's improved my playing again, and other elements.
Of course, yeah.
And again, playing with great guys always will do that. But and then it becomes not just being a drummer. You're involved in it from the decision making processes as well, which is also a big learning curve.
Yep.
And then instantly seeing how that transpires on the gig.
Yep.
The people that turn up, how many numbers you got that night, Did this new song go well?
Yep.
You got a big crowd to look after.
Yep.
Or a big crowd to disappoint. So you kind of it's a bit of responsibility.
Gotcha.
And it's a band, and so that was good going back from like being the last real sort of musical situation I found myself in before that was like supporting a songwriter, which is great, but it's whatever, man, whatever you want me to do,
exactly.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
that's cool. This is good, and that's good to have that head on, to serve the music as best you can. But then when you're in the driving seat of a pumping sort of show, that's a whole nother ball game as well. So we'll just see how long it all holds up.
That's
yeah
good. And so we'll start to taper it off, I think. So how's
cool.
How's the future looking for Sleishman Drums?
Good. So
new products. Yeah, awesome. You don't have to tell us, but
no, I'm happy to tell you. We've had one in the works for a while, and it's had a few revisions, so it's kept it back, but we're right on top of it and about to press go properly with it, which is our new version of the twin pedal.
Oh, okay.
And an addition to that is a single pedal as well.
Right.
So
you don't make a single pedal now? It's just
not at the moment. No,
Yep.
we've dabbled.
Yep.
Bits and pieces, nothing serious.
Okay.
And the way we're manufacturing it lends us to why not? Why wouldn't you make it? Because it's actually going to be all made out of the same parts as what the twin pedal is. So there's not a lot of
new casting type molds and gotcha.
No.
Yep.
And a lot of it's a great method of CNC manufacture. So and the exciting bit is I know how very, very good this pedal is.
Awesome.
So very excited because we've got a couple of working prototypes that the old man's still got his hands on, won't let us go of. Because
I was going to say you probably get that chance to go prototype those things, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
That's great.
Yeah.
And try them out.
And then
I guess you don't want it to fail in front of 1,000 people.
That's right. We've been doing it long enough to have learnt enough lessons.
Okay.
And that's one of them.
Yeah. Just know for sure before you
100%.
fire it out there.
100%. So there's always a process. So before, we're ready to go on it, but we will do a pre-production run to test our everything.
Great.
The manufacture side of it.
Yep.
It's what we did with our drum, like we do with every product. So it takes ages, and for a small business, I think it takes even longer.
Yep.
You can be more nimble as a small business in some respects, but by the same token, it means more when you have success. It also means more when you stuff up. So you've got to be able to make sure you don't. There's a lot riding on it. So yes, we'll do a pre-production batch that'll select a few of us will play the shit out of.
Awesome.
Make sure that everything's right. But yeah, all things being said, the pedal's been around since 71.
Yep.
If there's something to know about it, we pretty much know about it.
Awesome.
And then from there, it's just a good take on what we do, plus add some added extras. So I'm very excited because it's like it's a new pedal.
Yeah.
It's that different. It's same setup, same seating position, but that's probably where it all stops. It's a very different setup and extremely powerful. So from that side, and with the drums, always refining. We're not going to be changing our free floating setup at all. It just works. But we're always shell components, sizes of drums, kits.
Because you've just recently brought out a short bass drum kit that I saw Steve.
Yeah, Steve Marin was pretty much the first one.
Yeah.
So we're to the best of our ability, we're going to go into a production sense with it as well.
Yeah. And is that in your kind of competition to like the sort of the Questlove breakbeats type small footprint type setup? Yeah,
it falls into that category.
Yep. But obviously high end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the breakbeats is.
And I want someone like our small drums have always. So the thing with our system and the way we make our drums, small drums really speak volumes for what that gives. The system gives. So they're a good advertisement for it.
Yeah.
And so our bebop kits, like the little 18x14s, 14-inch 4x, even smaller 12-inch drums, they really work for us. And people go, wow, you're getting all that sound out of that little drum. So seeing other drum companies go, all right, we've got got to get the shorter drums going. It was almost like, yeah, cool, good on you, go for it, go do it, no problems. That was years ago. I think Premier were one of the first ones to bring it back into the forefront of people that had a little short bass drum. And most companies nowadays have got sort of the smaller drum versions of it.
Yep.
And for us, it's like we know you get more from our shell, so we might as well give it a go.
Yep.
And man, it's just ridiculous.
Killer,
the drums are just singing.
Yeah.
And as well as that, you get all this punch. But for so for us, it's more or less going, all right, you're getting more bang for your buck because you're taking up less footprint on a stage. So that was the main thing. Like, it's just gotten to the point where the business is what it is, and drummers are often required to do just little spots on little stages, acoustic stuff. I'm not dissing the cajon thing, but it's not a drum kit. Right? Yeah. And you get up there, you play the cajon, and it's all cool, and it's great, but it's just this guy sitting on a box.
Yeah.
I'm a drummer.
Yeah, I got you.
I want to play drums.
Yeah.
So, so that was the reason why the calling was, we can't fit you on the stage, man, or, so okay, what's the closest we can come to that and actually have our own thing going that still Sleishman, still sounds good, which is this 20x9 bass drum, fat as, 10x6 or 12x6 or both, 14x9 floor tom. And at the moment we're going back to our old piccolo, which is a 14x3 piccolo. Cracker.
Yeah.
But because the two heads are close together, you can tune it down and get the sensitivity and still get a really fat sound from it, like a low kind of thing that you don't really need a bigger snare drum. So it's kind of like, you can crank it up and do the whole 90s kind of, R&B thing with it, or tune it back down. And I love a piccolo. And I think if there's a tip in maybe drum world kind of trend, I think possibly this is me going out on a limb. Maybe the piccolo might be coming back.
Yeah, I've heard that a little bit.
We might have to help lead the charge on it because ours has got its own great little that thing where it's free.
Yeah. So
it can get low.
Well, I've got. Get low. You were talking earlier about how Pearl. And you sound like you're getting quite passionate there, and maybe you thought that Pearl might have stolen your idea.
Oh no!
I know what you mean. But it's
just interesting.
I've got a Pearl free floating piccolo.
Yeah.
That I've had since the early 90s.
Crack.
Yeah, crack.
Brass.
No, it's maple.
Maple.
Yeah.
Right. Great.
Killer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's no problem. We're like, it was more along the lines of going, it's just a funny coincidence.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Maybe
that we went
and
did it. Look, you can grey area point the finger, but no, it's more the kind of going, they probably had the design. Or like I said, Gretsch probably had a design as well.
Yeah.
And maybe this is, there's something in this, maybe we should go. Maybe just that those meetings maybe help spurn it on.
Spurn it on, It's not just us type thing.
Which I think is a really good thing.
Yeah. Because
it opened up a lot of people's sort of minds to it. And ours is different.
Yeah.
So, which is cool. And then you look at it and go, well, there's a trend. Unfortunately, drummers are at times battling to get themselves onto the stage these days.
Yeah.
I hate saying that.
Yeah, no, it's true though.
But it's a case of, all right, well, let's get them on the stage and give them more reason to get on the stage.
Especially bands with, that are sort of self-running PAs and, the band members run the PAs, so the PA is actually on the stage.
Yes.
It just takes away that...
Tight.
Yeah.
It's tight. And also for travelling bands as well.
That's it.
With one of the other early models went to nice young Brisbane-based drummer or Sunny Coast drummer, Logan, who actually at the moment plays with Adam Brand, who's a pretty well-known country dude.
Country dude.
And they're flying around, and they're flying all their gear. So everything so they're going to an outreach kind of gigs all over the place.
Yeah. And
it's a really good thing because they're getting out and getting to people. But because they're moving all the gear, that was the other thing. He saw it going, wow, this might actually do the work for us. This could save us the space, save us the weight, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I hope it's helping him do that. So that was another byproduct. Okay, you could, if you need be, you can go and get on a plane with the kit, and it probably won't break that if you double up and get that 64 kilo kind of situation,
Right.
where you find yourself, you can buy that extra pretty much with Virgin. Then all of a sudden you've got a kit you might be able to take with you.
Great.
So there's all those things. Or if you're a drummer that's decided to get a sports car, which a mate of mine has as well. A mate of mine has. And he's gone, this is great, now I can fit the drums in my car. I go, what are you talking about? Where's your wagon?
Yeah.
Where's your wagon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's all of that, and there's always something new, and we're always mucking around with materials and all the rest of it. And enjoying making drums on a smaller scale for guys too. Again, really, really, really getting into it and sort of why someone wants a particular kit, the sound they need.
Gotcha.
And then what I get excited about and go, okay, this is what we can give, and it all goes from there. So yeah, it's cool. So as much of that, bring it on. But seriously, 2019, looking very much forward to the pedals.
Great.
The pedals.
Great.
Yeah.
Watch the space.
Pedals, and 2019, living in 1989 maybe musically as well. So
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Really good.
So that's me.
Awesome,
That's
man.
me.
Dave Sleishman, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thanks, bro.
I really enjoyed the chat, man. It was really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers, Steve.
No worries, man.
Cool.
Take it easy.
You too.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, bro. Woo.